Here with another video. This is on cash or margin accounts and level 1 or level 2 options when you're starting out, which is going to be better for you, right? All right. So first, what is the difference between a cash and margin account? When creating an account on a brokerage, you will be prompted to either create a cash account or a margin account. Rarely, but sometimes will a brokerage ever offer only one of these two options, but it does happen sometimes, right? So when it comes to what is the difference, both have their upsides and downsides. For this video, we're not going to go into everything about everything, but we will give you the basics for, giving you a helping hand on which one to choose when you're going to open up an account to trade stocks or options. So personally, I use a cash account for safety purchases, which I'll kind of touch on the next slides, but it does have a downside to it, right? In my opinion, I think it outweighs the positives, or I think the positives outweigh the negatives when it comes to a cash account, but I'll let you make your decision for yourself, right? You shouldn't take my advice because you need to do what's best for you. Pros and cons on a cash account, right? So the pros of a cash account is that you can trade as much as you want without restriction. As long as you have money, you can trade as much as you want. So unlike in a margin account where if you day trade more than three times per week, you can be subject to penalty where you can possibly never trade on your social security or ITIN number again, whichever you trade with. So say in a cash account you have $100 and you buy a contract for $100 and you profit $20, bringing your account to $120. Your buying power would still say $0 because it has to wait for the cash to settle. This is a downside because if you say you have a small amount of capital, you can't trade very much per day. Whereas a margin account, if you had $100, you can reuse that $100 as many times as you want. If you want to day trade, it has to be 3 times per week. So 3 times starting from the day trade. So say I day traded today on Monday, so say I did 3 day trades today on Monday, I would not be able to day trade again until Monday next week. Or say I did on Tuesday, it'll be Tuesday next week, or Thursday next week, right? You can also spread these out, or you can do, swing trades. There's ways to get around this, but it does make it very hard to grow an account pretty fast. But like I said, this will allow you to trade as much as you want as long as you have the capital for it. This could lead to overtrading, which is really bad. You do not want to overtrade. So, if you do get on here, do not overtrade as long as you have the capital. Just do your 1 or 2 trades for the day. 1 to 3 trades is what I recommend. And after that, if you're red or green, doesn't matter. You're done for the day. Look back on why everything was the way it was and, what you could do better. So the margin account, right? So a margin account lets you borrow money for your investment, so you won't need to have the full amount to invest. This is very rare unless you really know what you're doing. Is whenever you would have say a $2,000 minimum, and then you'd be able to borrow up to $5,000 for your investments, right? You'd put $2,000 as collateral, and they would give you your brokerage would give you $5,000 to invest, and hopefully you don't lose that, so you don't have to pay it back, but. That's kind of, the idea with the margin account, but with stocks or with option trading, it's a little different. A margin account allows you to reuse your money. So say you have $100 and you buy a contract for $100. Your buying power will be $0, but once you go to sell that option, say for a $20 profit, you will now have $120 buying power that you can reuse to buy either stocks, options, crypto, whatever you want to buy it, any commodity. So that sounds awesome, right? But what's the catch? You can only day trade 3 times per week on a margin account, like I was saying a second ago. So say that you wake up at 6:30 if you're like me in California, or Pacific Standard Time. So say you wake up at 6:30 a.m. and you're ready to start day trading, right? You buy and sell a stock before the market closes at 1 p.m. Okay, and then say Tuesday comes around, you wake up at 6:30, you do it again. And Wednesday comes around, you do it again. On Thursday, when you go to do that again, you are going to pop up with a warning. Hopefully, it'll warn you that you are about to make a 4th day trade before the week has passed and you have been renewed another day trade. And it'll let you know that if you do take this trade and you end up selling it within that same day, so from 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Thursday, if you sell it within that day, you will be punished, right? And I don't mean punished like, put on timeout or anything. This is a severe punishment. You will never be able to trade again, right? Which is very bad, especially if we want to make this our profession, which I know some of you guys do. So yeah, let's not do that, right? So for me, the downside of having a cash account is that I can only trade with the money that I have in my account that's settled, right? So say I have $1,000 and I use $200 for a trade. I now have $800. Even if I profited and sold that trade, or even if I lost and sold that trade, I would still only have $800 to trade with, because the $200 that I just used would not be settled until the following day. It only takes one day, right, to for that money to settle, so it would be overnight. But it still is just, in day trading, it does, you want to trade with as much as possible. So say I take 5 trades at $200 and profit on every single one, hopefully, I would still have a $0 buying power. So I would not be able to buy any stocks, any contracts, any crypto, nothing, right? I have to wait till the following day to have access to that money again, because then it will be settled. Another thing that I didn't write down on here that is kind of a downside is that when you have margin accounts, I know especially on Robinhood, they allow you to have an instant deposit, where on most brokerages, it takes 1 to 3 to 5 days for the money to get into your account and actually settle so you can trade with it. On Robinhood, they have an instant deposit program where, if say you put in $1,000, you can instantly, seconds later, go and buy as much as you want, up to $1,000, right? And then that money will just be pooled and put into your account over the span of 1 to 5 days. But if you have a cash account, this does go away, right? You have to wait the full 1 to 5 days for your money to get into your account so you can actually trade it. So the main upside that I see for margin contracts or margin accounts is that you can reuse your money after a trade rather than waiting for the funds to settle the next day, right? So you can realistically trade as much as you want, up to 3 times. And if you have more than $25,000, this does not apply to you, but as long as you have under $25,000, you can only trade up to 3 times per week. So options level 1 and 2. Level 1, all of level 0 plus, and then all of level 1 plus, just move it down 1. So level 1 plus and level 2 plus. So level 1, you can do long calls, long puts, long straddles, long combinations, long strangles, cash secured equity puts, which I do not trade any of this except for long calls and long puts, right? So long put sounds kind of confusing because we're used to hearing a short put, right? But long just means to buy something. So if you're buying a put or you're buying a call, right? You can also short a call, you can also short a put, but the typical terminology we're used to hearing is we are long on a call or we are short on a put, right? So that's mainly what we trade. When it comes to level 2 options, on the bottom side, we have access to spreads, diagonal call spreads, diagonal put spreads, ratio spreads, long side heavy, right? And for the common ear, even for people who trade options, these are rocket science, right? So it's not easy for everyone, right? And it's definitely not in my vocabulary because I don't know much about these, right? I know somewhat how they work. I have studied up a bit on them somewhat, but I have found that it's a lot easier just to stick with what you know, long and shorts or calls and puts, right? So do you need options level 1 or 2 as a beginner or as a pro, right? A pro, it is up to you to develop your own strategy throughout your trading career. So say your trading career guides you to a position where you're trading spreads or you're rolling options, right? You will need level 1, 2, or 3 for that. But if you are looking to, if you're a beginner or even some pros want to just stick with calls and puts, buying and selling calls and puts, right? So if you are a beginner, I recommend starting with paper trading. As you can see right here, I wrote it down. This will teach you the basics when trading. Most traders don't even use levels higher than 2, 3, or 4 because they don't need to, right? If they just want to buy and sell calls and puts, there's no need for the level 2, 3, and 4. When you start getting into spread and rolling options, like I just said, you must be very confident and know what you are doing, and these are very advanced strategies, right? You don't necessarily have to be a very advanced trader, but they are, in my opinion, advanced strategies just because they are a higher level of options. So it's just a very technical definition of it, right? So like I said, I only buy and sell calls and puts. This is my strategy and this is what I know. So this is what I'll stick to, right? If you are a chef, obviously you're going to try new recipes, but you are going to stick to your main course. And obviously, if I wanted to, I could paper trade spread. And if I wanted to roll an option, I would try it in paper trading before I actually start implementing that into my current strategy, right? So that is all for today, guys. I try to keep it under 10 minutes, just went a little bit over. But if you do have any questions, join the Discord. I will link it in the comment section or the description of the bio, or you can comment on this video with any questions and I will respond, or I can make a further video, right? My TikTok is JP Learning How to Trade. If you want to go on there and comment something on one of the videos, I can respond on there. If not, you guys have a blessed day and thank you for watching.